she was well known to law enforcement. Yet this Prime Minister is telling us that the RCMP and CSIS were asleep at the switch.
Mr. Speaker, I know that the honourable member has associated with people that have also been investigated and charged with by the RCMP in the province of Quebec. And I'm not going to get into his dating history here in the House of Commons. We're focused on
several months. No one in the RCMP and no one in CSIS informed the Prime Minister.
The credibility of the member from Toronto Centre when he engages in righteous indignation over confidential information and disclosures. When he was the NDP Premier of Ontario, he had 8 cabinet ministers resign. He never had any public inquiries, even though several of them involved the disclosure of confidential information, disclosure of violations of privacy law. He never saw fit to have a public inquiry. I guess he's changed his colours in more than one way since then.
Loans he received during his leadership race. By the end of today, those loans will become illegal donations. If the Liberal leader can't manage his own finances, how does he ever expect to manage the finances of the country? Canadians know exactly who will be pulling the Liberal leader's strings if he doesn't repay these elite and powerful favored few. Can the Parliamentary Secretary to the Treasury Board President tell us what this government is doing to provide against and crack down on these illegal donations?
Honourable Parliamentary Secretary to the President of the Treasury Board.
Today we are calling on the Liberal leader to table in the House of Commons the special arrangement he is seeking with Elections Canada, including how much does he owe to the wealthy elites? What have the wealthy elites asked in return for their money? When will they be paid off? What penalty has Elections Canada applied for this breach? The public has the right to know which vested interests are pulling the strings of the Liberal leader. It's time that he came clean with Canadians.
Deputy Minister of Finance in Nova Scotia has called the $54 billion removed from Canada's Employment Insurance Fund, quote, the biggest theft in Canadian history.
Well, Mr. Speaker, during the Liberal years, it was the Bloc and the NDP who were arguing to spend even more of that money that was taken from workers. So, Mr. Speaker, if it was the Liberals who were saying, stick them up to hard-pressed workers, it was the Bloc who was standing as a lookout and the NDP who were driving the getaway car.
Some serious errors committed today during question period having to do with the interpretation of the Canada Elections Act. Mr. Speaker, it is important for this House to know that today is not any deadline for repaying leadership loans. It is a date upon which leadership loans and repayment arrangements must be reported to election.
Mr. Speaker, it's important that somebody tell the truth about what the law says. It's clear in the Canada Elections Act that there is an 18-month repayment period for all loans that are taken out for leadership campaigns. That period starts from the time that the leadership race ends, and therefore June 3rd, this day, which happens to be my birthday, Mr. Speaker, is also deadline day for the leader of the Liberal Party. And we expect that he has an hour and a half to make that payment. I have full confidence that he will do that, or Elections Canada will hold him to account.